Hello and welcome back to the Scaleform HUD tutorials. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to set up the STGFX HUD class that we declared in the last or referenced in the last video, and we're going to create it, and then hopefully we're going to try and load or get it ready for loading in the SWF file, which we're going to create later on. So this, as you can see, is just is similar to what we're going to be creating anyway, and there are a few functions in here that I'm not going to go through. I'm just going to pull them out and copy, and I'm going to put them in the video description. I just use them all the time. They're just very simple functions for rounding a number. If you've got a float value, you get an int value out that's correctly rounded rather than just a cast, which always rounds down. Get percentage is, again, it's fairly simple, but it just saves you having to type out all of the code each time you want to use it. And correct angle function. This one I've put here because Unreal uses its own units for angles and measurements and all the rest of it, which aren't necessarily very sensible in my opinion. So what this function does, it takes a value in Unreal units and then converts it into degrees, which in this particular tutorial we don't need to use particularly, but you can use it if you're doing like a compass thing, which I have done in the past. So that's the only reason it's still in there. So let's copy that over into a new file. I don't remember what we called it. Okay. So Solution Explorer, in the Scaleform tutorial classes folder, new item, Unrealscript file, and call it STGFX HUD. And STGFX HUD should extend GFX movie player. Let's save that. Right, I'm going to copy those functions in, or paste those functions in that I had mentioned earlier. And then we need to add in some variables. So the first one we're going to add in is a cache value for health. So that's a float value, last health percentage, and the reason we do that is because otherwise you end up updating the flash every single frame even when you're not actually changing the values, and it can get a little bit intensive on the processor and all the rest of it. So we need to add 3 more values. Now these are going to reference the movie clips and the text field and stuff that we create in the flash file later on. So they're all GFX objects. That class is for movie clips, graphics, text files, text fields, anything that you create with the click interface that's explained on the UDM page, and all the rest of it. So we need health movie clip, health bar movie clip, and I'm going to add this on a separate line because it's a different type of GFX object, but it still falls under the same class. Health text field, or health TF. Okay. So the next thing we need to do is we're going to create the initialize function that we put in to be called from the post begin play of STHUD. So we need to go down to the bottom, declare a function init, and I don't think there were any parameters. Oh yes, there was. Player controller. We're just going to call that value PC. We don't actually need to use it. And then we need to actually initialize the thing. So the first one is a GFX function start, which just starts playing, and then advance. Now if we put in a value of 0.f, that sort of starts everything up, loads all the variables, but doesn't actually move it on. So if you've got a Flash SWF file with several frames that plays an animation, that won't actually start it or advance it and make it skip frames or anything. It'll just make it load all the variables that it needs. And then we're going to set the last health value to something silly so that we know that on the very first time we run the tick HUD function, we're going to update the health. So I've set that to -1337 just because that's the kind of person I am. And then finally we need to load all those GFX objects that we declared at the beginning. We need to make sure that they actually reference something. So the init function is as good a place as any to do all that. So health MC, that's going to be let's see if I can remember what it is. Yeah, that one's going to be root health bar MC. So get to health bar MC equals get variable object, and the path is underscore root dot health bar underscore MC, and then that's that. And then we're going to copy that. So we've got 3 copies of that, and then the second copy of it is health bar MC, and the path for that, the bit you put between the quotation marks, is underscore root dot health bar MC dot bar underscore MC. And then on the last one, what health TF equals get variable object underscore root health bar underscore MC dot health underscore TXT. So, and then the final thing we need to do before I end the video is the tick HUD function. So function tick HUD, don't think we gave that any parameters. Nope. And then basically on this one we're going to, because we need to access health values. So the way we access health values is through the pawn class. So we're going to have declare a local variable, local ut pawn, because that's the pawn class that we're using, and I'm going to call it UTP. And then we need to set UTP equals player owner dot pawn, and then we'll do a check. Oh no, we need to cast that. So UTP equals UT pawn open bracket player owner dot pawn close bracket colon, and then we need to check if that cast has succeeded. So if UTP equals none, then we need to return. We don't want to do anything on that frame because we've got no pawn to get health variables from. And then what we need to do, because we've got this cache value, we need to make sure that it is not the same as before. So because we're starting to run out of time on this video, I'm just going to pause the video, type it all in, and then you sort of let it run a little bit and you can have a look at it, and I'll post the code in the description as well. Okay, and we're back. So basically this just checks the cached function against the get percentage function for the health. If it's not the same, it sets the cache to the value of the percentage, the current value, sets the X scale of the bar, limiting it to 100, and sets the text field text. I will post that in the video description. And then the last thing is in the default properties block. We need to set B display with HUD off equals false, B gamma correction equals false, and a line that's commented out at the moment because we haven't got this asset, movie info equals swf movie apostrophe, and then the value is stassets.hud.hudswf close apostrophe. And I will see you in the next video.